All right, we are going to start our presentations now. So I want to bring back up to the stage the spokesperson for this year's title sponsor, Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, founded in 1852, headquartered in San Francisco. They provide, of course, banking, insurance, investments, mortgage, consumer and commercial finance, 8,500 different locations, 13,000 ATMs, of course, the internet, as we all know, and mobile banking. They have offices in 42 countries and territories. So thank you very much, Wells Fargo, they're right here, for all that you do for our military community. And let's welcome Matthew Williams, Branch Sales Manager. Come on up, you have a special introduction.
Okay. All right. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Ty Smith. He's a retired U.S. Navy SEAL who throughout his career deployed 6 times in the global war on terror. Ty is currently the founder and CEO of Vigilance Risk Solutions, a technology company that specializes in conflict and violence prevention. Ty also sits on the board of trustees at Ashford University and as a member of the Academics and Student Affairs Committee and the Board of Counselors at USC Marshall School of Business. Thank you. Ty.
Thanks. So, can everybody hear me? I don't like sitting in front of the podium for too long if I don't have to. So, a lot of times people ask me, hey, why did you become a Navy SEAL? So I figured I would just start off by sharing that with all of y'all. I grew up in East St. Louis, Illinois, and one day I was 12 years old and I was sitting in the house with my mom. It was just my mom and I, and I was sitting on the floor, kind of like laying with my back against the couch. And my mom was sitting next to me, but she was sitting on the couch. And this movie came on television, starring none other than Charlie Sheen. And to this day, my mom will tell you that I was captured. Like she'll tell you, I've never seen him sit that still for that long, and be quiet for that long. And I'll never forget, it was like yesterday. After the movie was over, I looked up at my mom and I said, Mama, that's what I want to do when I grow up. And, you know, my mom, she could have said anything in the world to me. I'll never forget it. She could have said anything, but she looked at me and she said, son, that will be the hardest thing you've ever done in your entire life. But if you want to do it, you can do it. And oftentimes I always think back and I wonder, gosh, what if my mom would have said the opposite of what she said to me that day? Where would I be in life right now? See, because here's the deal. People are going to tell you no. People are going to tell you no, flat out. Some of you have already experienced that. Your whole lives, you've been told no, or what you can and what you can't do. Why do we allow people to do that? Why do we allow others to tell us what our potential is? And guess what? Sometimes we're the culprits ourselves. Sometimes we are the roadblock that's standing in front of ourselves. The fact of the matter is that you can do absolutely anything that you put your heart to. And no one can stop you from doing that. You are in charge of that. Whether you're a poor kid growing up in East St. Louis, Illinois, and you happen to see a movie that today, now that you know better, is so ridiculous, and that inspires you, or whether you grew up in rural Nebraska and you've never even heard about Harvard University until it's time to apply. No one can prevent you from doing something that you put your heart to, and I feel really strongly about that. The reason why I'm saying this to all of you is because somewhere along your journey, you have allowed people to place some type of limitation or a boundary on you. And by the way, when it comes to your personal accomplishments, why do we believe we have limits anyway? Who's to dictate what I am capable of accomplishing and what I'm not capable of accomplishing? Why do we do that? I'll tell you why. Because somewhere along your journey, someone has told you no. Someone has told you what you can and what you can't do. But What if I were to tell you that you don't have limits? You really don't. All of these limits and these boundaries that we've allowed people to place on us, the limits and the boundaries that we place on ourselves, what if I told you that they were make-believe? Would you believe me when I told you that? And if you wouldn't believe me, if I look you in your eyes and I say that you can do anything you put your heart to, then why are you so ready to believe people that tell you the opposite whenever they want to tear you down and prevent you from doing something that your heart is telling you to do? Because people are going to tell you no. People are going to tell you no all the time. But only you have a say in your own potential. You are the only person. But still, people are going to tell you no. Entrepreneurship is hard. It's really hard. But it's not impossible, especially if you are willing to insist upon winning. That insistence includes the removal of all of those limitations and those boundaries that we have allowed others to place upon us. If you don't believe me when I say that, try changing the way you're thinking right now and see how far you get. I believe you can go anywhere you want to go. It's all in the technique. As an entrepreneur, being told no it's something that you have to get used to. And I'm not saying that you have to learn to accept the word no when there's something that you want. What I'm saying is that you have to learn to just stop listening to the naysayers. You have to learn to stop believing the people that don't believe in you, because they really don't have anything to do with your success or the things that you actually accomplish. When it comes down to it, and I'm going to get a little vulnerable up here, and I hope that's okay with y'all, but if it helps someone, I don't care. When it comes to what's in your heart, only you have a say in that. And who's to say what you can and what you can't accomplish if your heart is telling you to go after a goal? The only thing that matters is in your heart, and your heart knows what you're made of, even if you haven't figured it out yet. So if you're considering going into entrepreneurship, don't dwell on it for too long. Don't listen to people that tell you that, oh, that business won't work, or maybe that's not going to be right for you. Just do it. 32% of Americans over the last 12 months have considered leaving their current jobs in order to pursue entrepreneurship. 32% over the last 12 months, but most of those people have not embarked on that journey, and they will not. They either talk themselves out of a good deal, or they allow other people to do it for them, because guess what? People are going to tell you no. And trust me, I get it. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. I am not kidding you. It is hard. But you know what? Military service is hard. So is anything else in life that you want to accomplish. If it's worth accomplishing, it's going to be hard. When I started my company, plenty of people told me no. Plenty of people told me that this business would not work, but I didn't listen to them. I did my own research, I listened to the market, and I listened to what my heart was telling me to do. And 4 years later, I'm still running my business, so I must be doing a little something right. When I decided to listen to myself and to take matters in my own hands, yeah, I still had to do a lot of research. I had to do a lot of learning, but what I learned was a lot of reasons as to why my competitors would start companies and they would fail. But I also learned why my company would not be one of those failures. I didn't allow that fear to paralyze me, though, and actually prevent me from achieving my goals. I said, no, I'm going to do it anyway. And that's because, again, you can do whatever you put your heart to. It's up to you. No one can stop you from doing what you've decided you want to achieve. On this journey, I've learned some lessons, and one of those lessons is the need to build an extremely valuable ecosystem around yourself as a person, but also around your business. And I know I'm telling you that you can do anything that you put your heart to, and that's true, but that doesn't mean that you have to go out and try to do it by yourself. Use your network. Use the people that love you and care about you and want to see you be a success. Because you can do it if you're not going at it alone. If you're aspiring to start a business, I would encourage you to start by building a business model canvas. This business model canvas is going to force you to answer a couple of questions that I think are really important, like who are your channels and who are going to be your key partners. That's going to be the start of you developing the network that your business needs in order for you to succeed and for you to grow efficiently. This also means taking on mentorship. You know, I had a fabulous career in the SEAL teams, and I wish I could stand up here and say that, oh, it's because I was the biggest, toughest, coolest Navy SEAL you've ever seen, and it's because I did everything by myself, but I'm sorry, that's just not true. I made a lot of mistakes. I was a good leader, but sometimes I messed things up too. And sometimes I had to walk in the shoes of admitting when I was wrong. But I had a phenomenal career, and it's because there were people that cared about me and that believed in me, even at times when I didn't believe in myself. And they protected me, and they raised me, and they grew me. And so I did really, really well throughout my career. Well, I took that lesson in a business as well, because there's a lot that I'm learning right now that I've never even heard of throughout the 2 decades that I spent in the military. And so it's really important that you find mentors that can help you to grow your business smartly, and preferably people that have actually been business owners themselves. And someone asked me the other day, I thought this was an interesting question, what if my mentor is a failed business owner? And I said, well, what do you mean by failed business owner? And they said, well, this person started a couple of companies, but unfortunately the companies didn't work out for them. And I said, well, do you think you can learn something valuable from that person? And they said, I can probably learn what not to do so that my business doesn't fail. And I said, well, does that make you smarter? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, then you absolutely should listen to that person. You can learn something from anyone. A lot of people know that my passion is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's what I use to burn stress. And I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu for almost 20 years, but that doesn't stop me from training with white belts, brand new people. Because you have to stay humble. You never know what you're going to learn and who you're going to learn it from. So this is going to be the start of you building that ecosystem around your business. Look around. Look at all of the people in here that would be willing to help you. Talk to those people, get to know them, tell them about your dreams, tell them about what you are aspiring to do along your entrepreneurial journey. You never know who in this room is going to bend over backwards to help you. There are people in this room right now that have bent over backwards to help me, like Darius and like Maurice and like Stephanie and all of these people, Rebecca Aguilera. There's so many people here that will help you if you just open up and admit that, hey, this is the first time I've done this and I need some help. This is also why it's really important to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. I have no problem admitting that I hired an employee because I feel like that employee is smarter than me. You have to always follow your gut, but when it comes to getting things done, don't be afraid to admit when someone else is better than you at something. Not being overly prideful is also really, really helpful. I have no problem admitting what I don't know and what I'm not good at. So hire smart people, be willing to listen to them, and then get out of their way and let them go. I'll say it again, entrepreneurship is not easy. It's extremely difficult, but it's not impossible. You know, I'd say about 2 years ago, so I've been running this company for almost 4 years now, and about 2 years ago, I will be completely honest with you all, I was not having fun. Like, not even a little bit. I was just stressed out all the time. I couldn't figure out why my wife was like, dude, you're being a jerk. I couldn't figure out why my son was just like, Dad, I don't want to talk to you. I don't know why you're talking to me like this right now. I was just stressed out all the time. And I'm glad I can stand up here and laugh at it now, you know, because now I'm actually having fun. But a couple of years ago, I was actually having those conversations with myself, those secret conversation of, man, maybe those people were right. Maybe you should have taken that job with the FBI. What are you doing here, dude? You're not a businessman, you're a gunfighter. Go work for the CIA or something like that. Again, I was the culprit. I was tearing myself down. And had I listened to myself when I was doing that, I don't know, maybe I'd be on the side of a mountain in Afghanistan again for like the 7th time. Who knows, maybe I'd be dead. But I'm glad that I learned the lesson that I'm trying to teach all of you today, which is don't be that culprit. You can do anything that you put your heart to, and it's gonna be tough. When the times get tough, stay the course and keep going. Lean on the people that care about you and want to see you succeed. Now, I am going to talk about something that is extremely important to me. And I understand the inherent risk that I'm taking by bringing this topic up right now. But because of the demographic of this room, I think that it's worth the risk. And if it helps just one person, I'm okay with that. Post-traumatic stress is very, very real. It's something that hasn't made life as an entrepreneur impossible for me, but it's definitely made things a little more difficult. I've already let you in on some of the conversations my wife and I have had because of some of my behavior when I didn't realize what was actually happening to me and what the price was that I was paying because of all of the deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan as a SEAL. If this helps even just one person here, then it was worth me wearing my heart on my sleeve for a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. And maybe there's some healing on the other side of this for me too. So back in 2015, I had a lot going on, y'all. I had a lot going on. I was preparing for retirement. I was dealing with the VA and all of that paperwork. I was building my company. I was finishing my master's degree. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my baby sister up and died. And so I had a lot going on, and I knew that something was off. Like I was in grad school, and I'm normally a really fast reader, and when I read something once, I got it. It's always been a talent of mine, but I started noticing that I was having a difficult time reading. I would go to read something on the page, and my brain would tell me to look at the bottom of the page and read from right to left and from bottom to up. And then I would force myself to concentrate on accounting. It sucks. Seriously. But I would make it through like 20 pages and I'd look up and I'd go, gosh, I have no clue what I just read. I wouldn't remember any of it. And so that's when I started to notice like, hey, something's going on. And then, of course, the conversations between my family and I were becoming more difficult. And I wasn't understanding why my son thought I was a jerk or my wife didn't want to talk to me. And I started becoming an introvert. And I was going around and I was telling everybody, oh no, I'm fine. I'm okay. I can hack it. I'm just like every other SEAL team guy that, we're big and we're strong and we're tough and we can get through this. But you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong. This isn't something that you can do by yourself. And I'm saying that to this room in particular because I feel like there's a high likelihood that, there's someone in this room that knows what I'm saying. When you're a combat veteran and we've experienced the things that we've experienced over the last 18 years, it's a lot. We have purposely placed ourselves in harm's way over and over and over again. And we've seen people that mean everything to us. We've seen them fall. Pardon me. But still, we continue over and over and over again, running headfirst into horror. And we do that to defend freedom and democracy, and we do it to protect one another. I'm saying all of that because, again, due to the demographic of people in this room, and according to current data, more than likely there's someone in this room that knows exactly how I felt at my lowest point. And this part of this message is for you. I'm talking to you. You don't have to go through this by yourself. You don't have to bear the weight of the world by yourself and think that you have to take on entrepreneurship and transition and trying to figure out what's going on in your personal life by yourself. If you look around the room right now, there are plenty of people in here that care about what you're going through, and we're ready to help. I am. I don't know exactly why, I found the courage to ask for help. I was out to dinner one night with my wife and my son. We were at a restaurant in Hillcrest, and I think I just hit a wall. And I looked over and I kissed my wife, and I got up and I hugged my son, and I said, I'll see you at home. And they asked me, they said, well, where are you going? And I said, well, I'm going to go down to Balboa right now. I need help right now. And I'm not saying that, I don't know what would have happened. I just felt like that night, I knew for certain that I didn't care whether I woke up the next day. And I knew that that wasn't good. And I don't know why. I can't sit here and lie and say I know exactly why I went, hey, I need help, something's going on with me, I'm thinking things I don't normally think. I probably haven't slept in about 2 years. I'm having a hard time reading. I don't want to be around other human beings. I don't even like the person that I'm looking at in the mirror. I don't know why, but I'm just glad that something came to me, some angel came to me and said, hey, go get some help right now. And I'm sharing this about my own personal journey with you, because if there's anybody in the room today that needs to take that walk, put on those shoes and wear them. And if you need help, let me know, I'll go with you. I think that one of the things that helped me was I would have conversations with my really good friend, Dr. Ryan Maid, who was a Naval Special Warfare clinical psychologist, and I truly believe that he saved my life. And he's one of my best friends to this day. And during one of those conversations, I felt like it really occurred to me that post-traumatic stress is, at least in my opinion, it's your brain acknowledging loss. It's grief. When your brain acknowledges loss, the result of that is grief. And before I arrived at that way of thinking about my own personal journey, I was just fighting it. Again, I was just telling everybody around me that I was fine. Meanwhile, I was sitting at home, I was drinking way too much. I hardly drink at all now. And I was drinking all the time and just looking for ways to give you an excuse as to why I was behaving or thinking or feeling the way that I was feeling, thinking, and behaving. I couldn't deal with it by myself. And that's because, again, this is in my opinion. If there's one thing that I've learned about grief is that you don't decide when you are finished with grief. Grief decides when it is finished with you. It doesn't work the other way around. So you can be as big and as tough and as strong and as cool looking as you want to be. It doesn't matter. Grief will decide when it's finished with you. Allow yourself to go through those emotions. And notice that I didn't say fight those emotions. Allow yourself to be a human being and go through the emotions that you're feeling. Allow yourself permission to grieve for those that have fallen before us and for what you're feeling now and for what you have to go through for the rest of your life in order to carry that weight. I think it's important because, it doesn't matter. We're all human. Like I said, you can be as big and as strong and as tough and as cool as you want to be, but we're still just humans. And I want to play this. I don't know if it will play, but I'm going to try because, again, I'm not perfect. And I figured I would show y'all how imperfect I am. This isn't working. Anyway, I'll go back to it. I was going to show you, so I was in Afghanistan in 2014 with some friends doing some stuff. We were at the tactical operations center, and one of my guys was going, hey, I'm going to get ready to go do some training on a range. You want to come? I was like, yeah, I'll do some shooting. I'm tired of writing. So I went back and he went, hey, I'm going to record you, so try to look cool. And I went, okay, I'm going to look cool. So I went to draw my pistol. I swear I couldn't get it out of the holster. I could not get it out of the holster, and I'm working. And one of my guys yells, stop shooting at me, I'm not ready yet. But yeah, I couldn't get the pistol out of my holster. So It doesn't matter how cool you are, how big and strong and tough you are. We're human. We feel pain. We make mistakes. Deal with it. Now, from what I understand about post-traumatic stress, what I've learned is that this is something that some of us are going to have to live with for the rest of our lives, which means that you have to live through entrepreneurship with it. But it's okay. I'm telling you right now, as long as we stick together, we can hack it. Because again, you can deal with anything. You can do anything that you put your mind to. And as long as we're willing to help one another, you will. We just have to find healthy ways to do it. Like I said, for me, my stress relief is jujitsu. For you, it could be surfing. Doesn't matter. Find something. Something that will allow you to hyper-focus on something else for a short period of time. When your business starts gaining traction, trust me, you're going to need that stress relief. You're going to need something to help you kind of come down a little bit. Because once you start getting going really, really fast, that traction becomes addictive and it makes you want to go faster and stronger, and you should. It feels really, really good getting that market feedback. But I'm going to give you some really valuable advice that one of my friends gave me. And that is to schedule time for your family, schedule time for yourself. You know, when you're the founder of a company, everything feels like a priority. Like everything is, I got to get this done right now. And he told me something simple. He's like, man, you have to you know how you regiment every minute of your day? You need to include in some of that regiment time for your family and time for yourself. So I actually do that now. If you care and I see you in the future, ask me about it. I'll let you know how it works out. But that's what I'm trying to do. Something else that he let me in on was that whatever I had going on wasn't really as important as I thought it was. And what I mean by that is that he's not saying that, hey, what you have going on isn't important. What he's saying is that it's not as important as you think it is. When I was in the SEAL teams, every task was important. Things are not this way this time. I remember when I first transitioned out of the Navy and I started my business, and of course I was working extremely hard and I'm sending out 300 emails a day. I would get pissed when people wouldn't email me back right away. I'm not kidding you. And that was something that I took from the military. Because in the military, you send somebody an email, what do? They respond. Done, senior, check. What else? What's next? What else you got for me? Whereas in the civilian world, it's not like that. I'm serious. I would send somebody an email, and I wouldn't hear from them for 2 weeks. And then they would write me back as if I just wrote them like 5 minutes ago. And I would be angry. And I went to share this with my mentor once, and he went, dude, you have to realize that nothing in the civilian world is as important as things were in the SEAL teams. Take it easy. So I'm sharing that with you because he was absolutely right. Something else that's really helpful is hiring the right people. Hire the right people, train them well, and then again, get out of their way. I was really, really fortunate. Almost 6 months ago, my wife and I had a beautiful little baby girl. And I'm actually really, really lucky because there's a woman here, would you stand up for me, please, with that beautiful smile, who helped my wife and I actually have our baby. And I didn't know really cool to see you, but because I had built the right team, because I had hired the right people, that allowed me to actually step away from operations, at least most of it, for like 2 months, so that I could spend time bonding with my new daughter. If I wouldn't have built the right team or surrounded myself with the right ecosystem, I probably would not have been able to do that. So that's something that you want to focus on. Hiring the wrong person can bury your company. If you're starting a company right now or you're growing, you're looking at hiring, make sure you hire slow so that you don't have to fire fast. We've already established that as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to run at a really fast pace. It's really important that you are able to prioritize and execute in order to not be overcome by events. I like using this prioritization model. This is the Eisenhower model. Has anyone ever seen this? I love it. It's extremely simple, and I'm not all that smart, believe it or not, so I need simple. And it keeps me on track. Because when you're running a company, like the pace you're going to have to keep up at is absolutely unreal. So you're going to be tired all the time. My wife just bought me a mug that says "Exhaust Dad." I thought it was very, very cute. I started to bring it, but she's absolutely right, and I'm tired all the time. So you have to find ways to prioritize. Managing rapid growth is hard and it's completely stressful, but again, you can hack it. Because in case you haven't figured out, you can do anything that you put your mind to. It's all about the technique. But that also means controlling how fast you're growing your company, veterans. Growing too fast can be toxic to a company. It can be fatal. Rapid growth is fun, it's exciting, but again, be mindful of what's happening within your company. Be careful not to ever sacrifice the quality of your product, your services, your technology, just for the speed of growth. It's not going to work well. You want to make sure that you never lose control of your product, you don't lose control of the culture within your company, and you don't want to lose control of your mind, because entrepreneurship will absolutely do that. Focus on building scalable and repeatable processes that can help you to grow at a healthy rate. You want to spend more time working on your company than working in your company. And lastly, I would challenge all of you to focus on never allowing yourself to stop growing. I feel like I've arrived at a point in my life that all I want to do is learn. That's all I want to do is I want to learn for the rest of my life. I feel like I've arrived at a place in my life that I've realized just how much I don't know. And so I got a long way to go. But I feel as if no matter what, I stay humble. I stay willing to learn and to close my mouth sometimes and listen to the people that are trying to tell me about stuff, that there's nothing that I can't do. And I believe that about each and every one of you. Thanks.
All right. Wow, Ty, thank you very much. That was incredible. You brought us through all kinds of emotions, the tears, the laughs, the everything. So great job.